CRM system, database management system. What are you currently using?
No system so far.
No system so far. Anybody else using something else? Anyone? No? Are you using our roller page CRM system, Smart Studio? No? Okay. Well, that's good. We're going to have a lot of fun.
You can grab you the clicker and the Eaton, but you also have the mouse. And
Yes.
then I grab it. Okay?
Awesome.
See you all in a bit.
All right, so just a little bit of housework, house rules, I should say. We got a very limited amount of time today. I usually like to do full day workshops, right? Because I talk a lot, and sometimes with the questions that I get, I can tend to kind of go off track a little bit. Not because I want to, but because of the questions or because I think that it's important. I'm going to really kind of rush through the information. Unfortunately, we've only got a couple of hours today. So I'm going to ask you to give me your full, undivided attention for these 2 hours that we're going to spend today, right? Which means no text messaging, no posting on Facebook, right? Give me your full, undivided attention. I'm going to ask you to put your cell phones on silent, please. You might even want to challenge yourself and turn it face down so you don't even see anything scrolling by. We're going to talk about something today that I feel is the lifeblood, it is the hub, it is the central nervous system of your business. And that is your database, right? The biggest asset that you bring into this business of real estate. Who's here like brand new agents? Less than a year in the business, less than 2 years. Yes? Okay. Luigi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome. Okay, that's great. Because it means that you're here to get your career off onto the right start. Or maybe you've kind of figured out some things that you don't necessarily know, which is good. So we get an opportunity to create some good habits as quickly as possible. So the biggest asset that you bring to your real estate business, unlike a traditional business, see, a traditional business, any business owners in here? No? Okay, see, unlike a traditional business, the degree of success that your traditional business can potentially have really rests on, right? In your real estate business, the degree of success that you are going to have in your business is directly proportional to the amount of contacts that you bring into your business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. There is one caveat though, and the caveat is this. Having contacts in your business does nothing for you if you are not able to systematically organize those contacts and systematically keep in touch with those contacts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right? And so that's what we're going to share today. Let me just kind of do a little bit of a roll call so I kind of get an idea. Some of you I know, some of you I'm not familiar with yet at the moment. Anyone come in that does not have notes? Luigi does not have notes? You don't have notes yet, right? And if you've got a business card, can you kind of make sure that I get your business card today, please? Are you in this group, sir?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Exact. Yes, you got it.
My name is Peter.
Awesome. Oh, your name's not on the registration, right? Okay, good morning. And your name is?
Nassim.
Nassim? And your name, sir?
Pedron. I'm not on this either.
Okay.
P-E-D-R-A-M.
P-E-D-R-A-R-A-M.
A-M.
Is that your first name, Pedro?
Yeah.
The last name?
A-D-I-D.
A-D-I-B.
I-B.
Awesome.
I registered Emmy, right?
Emmy? Awesome, excellent. Sir?
Amir.
Amir?
Should be registered.
Excellent.
Nicole. Nicole E.
Nicole?
Yeah.
Excellent.
IXACT. The longest.
This one. Yes. Sir? Your name is? Your name?
Razmowski, R-A-Z-M-O-B-S-K-I.
Sanjay, it's not you though.
No, Sonia is not me, no.
That's right.
My wife, she booked it for me.
Yes. And your name is?
She's actually supposed to be here too, but.
First name?
Steve, my name's
Steve? Steve and
Hamid. H-A-M-I-D. I registered yesterday.
Amayuni?
Yes.
Thank you. Hope I didn't mispronounce your name. Okay. So as I was saying, that the biggest asset that you bring into your business are your referrals, but more importantly is to systematically have your contacts work in your best benefit. Now, when I say systematically, meaning that you don't want to run your business or operate your business by just trying to keep everything in the top of your head. It's just not possible. Okay, you're gonna forget things. Things are gonna fall through the cracks. Like there are more things that you're gonna want to focus on than trying to remember everything. which is why it's really important to operate your business and to function on a day-to-day basis from a calendar, for example, right? Who's using their calendar on their smartphone? Yes? Right? When you have an appointment, you actually put that in your calendar, correct? When you have an appointment with someone else, do you add them to that appointment? Right? Because what you should be doing is putting your appointment in your calendar so you get the reminder, even more importantly, inviting that person that you have the appointment with on your calendar also. It just raises your game to a whole nother level. More importantly, it minimizes the possibility of you showing up for the appointment and your appointment not showing up for the appointment, okay? All right, so again, if you missed it earlier on, I'm asking you to give me your undivided attention today. I'm asking you to put your cell phones on silent. I'm asking you to even turn them upside down if you need to, all right? Because we only have a limited amount of time. And I think the reason why you showed up today was because you realized that you could potentially benefit from having a more structured and systematic approach to your business. So I'm going to talk with you today about Exact Contact. And for those of us, so I'd asked earlier on who's using the CRM. Only a couple of us are currently using Exact Contact. Some of us are not using any database management systems at all. But I strongly encourage you that you do have a database management system. A lot of you might say, well, which system should I have? We all know that there are multiple CRM systems out there in the marketplace. And if you ask me, well, which one is better, I probably would say to you, the one that you use, okay? All CRMs out there have some value of some sort, or else the companies would never design them in the first place. But not all CRMs are equal. Not all database management systems are equal. If you're not using a real estate specific CRM system, that's probably one of the first things that you want to address, is that you want to use a real estate designed, a real estate built CRM system. Most CRM systems built for real estate are usually the systems on the back end of a website, yes? Right, so you've got a website, and then on the back end, you have a CRM, and that's primarily to facilitate the functionality that if someone goes to your website and they enter their contact information for more information or whatever the case might be, that they are going to end up somewhere. And then what is the process that typically happens when someone enters your website? Is there an autoresponder that they get? Is there a notification that you get that someone went to your website? Is there an email drip campaign or a follow-up sequence that gets automatically triggered to that contact when they enter your website, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Now, I'm not here to talk about Exact Contact's website. I'm primarily wanting to share with you what I feel is the best CRM system for real estate because of all of the functionalities that it has. If you ask me how many CRM systems that I currently use, I'll probably tell you that I have about 4 different CRM systems. And you say, well, why do I have so many? Now, I'm not saying that you should do what I do, but in my experience, and I've got over 30 odd years of experience in real estate. I started in real estate in 1987. Some of you know my story. But in my experience of in real estate, if I found a system that allowed me to do one thing better in my business, and it was worth $30 a month, $40 a month, $50 a month, I'd pay it because of that one thing that it did better than anything else that I had. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's why I have multiple systems, because as I mentioned earlier on, not all CRM systems are the same. So I have, I have a CRM system that's primarily for video. I have another system that is primarily used for mailing out physical greeting cards and things like that. I have another system that I use, which is primarily on the back end of my website, and I have Exact Contact. So, and they all do different things well. And so, I'm not saying to you by any means that, if you've got something else that you should ditch it and that you should, put all your focus and all of your energies into Exact Contact. But I'm going to share with you the benefits and the value that I see that Exact Contact has to offer. So, in our business, the main thrust of our business is to be able to run our business to such a degree that we create top of mind awareness consistently with our contacts, and that ultimately that will result in us being able to generate referrals. Does that make sense? Right? The best type of business that we could possibly get would be referrals, yes? And so the only way that we can really accomplish that task is by being top of mind. And being top of mind is a consistent effort to provide contact information, to provide real estate information, for them to see you in multiple different ways. One of the challenges that we have in our industry right now is that we tend to think that, okay, well, I've got I got my real estate license, great. I've got a business card, great, and I'm in business. But that's so far from the truth. All right. We have to communicate with our contacts through a variety of different methods, not just email, not just social media, not just text messaging, but through a variety of different things like video, like direct mail, recognizing things and milestones in your contacts' lives, whether it be birthdays, anniversaries, home moving anniversary dates, and things like that, and so on and so forth, right? And so this is why this platform is so unique. So let's just take a look at this tale between two realtors. So meet Sophia. Did she bring me the clicker? No. Okay. All right. So let's meet the tale of two realtors. So Sophia and Bill, two real estate agents who, like you, are good at what they do and they're eager to succeed. Now, Bill is struggling, working long hours, not making much money. However, Sophia is thriving, making a high income, and enjoying the lifestyle of her dreams. And so, why is that? Well, let's take a closer look. The big difference is in their approach to marketing. Now, Bill's approach is he's going to make his prospecting calls whenever he can. He's going to place some ads. He's going to react to any inquiries that trickle in from these efforts. He's got no real marketing system in place other than scrambling for any leads that he can get. Now, if you can relate to that and feeling that that might be you at some point in time or at some times in your career, that you feel that you're scrambling, that you're feeling that you are disorganized, that you're feeling that things are falling through the cracks, or you're feeling that you're only busy when you've got a little something on the hook, then you're like Bill. All right? The only time that you're really getting busy is when you have a potential. On the other hand, if you take a look at systems can help you to maintain a consistent flow of activity without the ebbs and flows. And as a result of that consistent activity, the business will develop. All right? So you're not just running around going crazy when you've got a listing or you've got a buyer. You're consistently doing things in your business. See, when Bill does connect with real estate prospects and past clients, he doesn't offer anything of value. He just makes his sales pitch and hopes for the best. So a lot of times that happens because we're not necessarily leading with value. See, if we're leading with value and putting the client first, we're not necessarily trying to sell them, if that makes sense. Right? We're not necessarily trying to, like back in the day when we used to do cold calling, for example, we would say, hey, do you want to sell your house? No? Okay, bye. You want to sell your house? No? Okay, bye. You want to sell your house? And there was no value proposition made. Today's market is completely different. Who's been in this industry over 10 years? Any one of you? Yeah? Does that make sense, what I'm sharing with you? Right? Okay. See, there wasn't a really big focus on value. We were just trying to find the next deal. We were just trying to find the next seller. We wouldn't even ask them if they were even, probably thinking of moving in the next 2 or 3 years. It was like, now, who's thinking of selling now? Who's thinking of buying now? And so today's market is completely different. We have to approach it from a different mindset, okay? So in Bill's marketing, it's inconsistent. When business is slow, he hustles like crazy, but when he gets a few listings, his marketing efforts stop, and as a result, his income and his stress levels is like a roller coaster, ride that no one wants to be on. Let me see, what have I done here? Sorry. Let's get back over here. Boom. Bingo. Okay. And just so you know, I'm going to go through these notes. I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as I can. And then what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go into my IXACT contact system so that you can see a little bit more hands-on some of the practical applications of what we're reading and what we're discovering here right now. Now, Sophia's approach, however, is a little bit different. She does have a real estate marketing system in place, and her system consists of getting real estate referrals, generating real estate leads, converting prospects into new clients and listings. And these systems run like clockwork, month after month, and require just a few hours a month to manage. Now, through her systems, Sophia connects with prospects and clients regularly using personalized and impactful direct mail, along with email, social media, telephone calls, and personal visits. Now, these systems consistently deliver value to her contacts, and as a result, Sophia's building loyalty with her contacts. They know her, they like her, they trust her, they think of her as their go-to real estate agent. Now, not surprisingly, she's generating and converting more and more good quality leads and referrals year after year, and her income is soaring. Now, what business would you like? Would you like to have a business like Bill or like Sophia?
Yeah.
Like Sophia, for sure. Okay, all right. Now, if Bill continues with his approach, he's going to have to work just as hard for next year's real estate leads as he did this year. He may do okay, but chances are his career will never thrive, despite how hard he works. By contrast, Sophia has a much brighter future. She can expect to generate and convert more real estate leads and real estate referrals each year simply because she's staying in touch with her contacts and doing so much using proven, done-for-you marketing systems. And this, by far, has got to be the biggest challenge that we have, which is staying in contact with our contacts. Sometimes we connect with our contacts either just because we remember to contact them, they show up in our social feed, we contact them, but with no real strategy or no real purpose, okay? And so what we want to be able to do is we want to be able to to have a strategy, have a systematic strategy that we're using to contact and reach out to our contacts. Now, there is a done for you advantage, and in the following pages, you're going to learn what Sophie is doing, and we're going to walk through and take you through what some of those approaches look like, right? So it starts with your database, as I was saying earlier on. A well-managed database is your key to delivering value, building relationships with your past clients, prospects, and referral sources. And without it, countless leads are just going to slip and fall through the cracks, even without you realizing it. You see, when I do Quick Start, who's done Quick Start with me? Anyone here? A couple of you have done Quick Start with me, okay? I think that one of the things that I focus on quite a bit, and I share this with you, is that obviously your biggest asset that you bring to this business are your contacts, and that first impressions are lasting impressions. And how are you going to go out there and make the best first impression that you can? And so it starts with your communication platforms. What are your communication platforms? If you, we all use an email because let's face it, email is still the status quo from a business communication standpoint. And so what does your email look like? What does your email signature look like? Is it as professionally looking as it could be? And we go through various steps that we should do in order to make those changes and to implement those things in our business. Sometimes, we'll go through this process like we're here today, but then we'll leave and we don't implement some of those very basic things. I just had some communication with an agent that has gone through Quick Start months ago, and they emailed me and they still didn't have an email signature. And I just cringed to think of how many people that they've been communicating with and still no email signature. And it is so unprofessional to be communicating with your contacts and prospects without a professional looking email signature. Does that make sense? Yeah. Right? And so these are just some basic things, but one of the things we spoke about in Quick Start, and I'm going to share this with you here right now, is that if you're just getting started in your real estate business, or even if you're not just getting started in your real estate business, are you reaching out to the people in your database? And are you discovering what their timing and their motivation is? And if you haven't, that should be the absolute very first thing that you do, which is to reach out to your database and make calls to your database to find out their timing and their motivation. I typically say, hey, listen, so you're calling up Bill. Hey, Bill, it's Eric. Hey, man, how you doing? How's the family? How's everything like that? Okay, yeah, great. Hey, listen, I'm not even sure if I told you, but I started a new career in real estate, and I'm just calling to ask you if you wouldn't mind doing me a huge favor. And what's most people going to say when you ask them to do a favor?
Sure.
They're going to say, sure, absolutely. You're going to say, well, hey, listen, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling real estate that I could help? Now, you're not asking them, hey, if you know of somebody that's thinking about buying or selling real estate, would you refer them to me? Because if you ask them that question, what are they going to say right off the bat? They're going to say, probably they're going to say, sure, no problem. And you know why? They're going to say, sure, no problem. They don't even have to think about it. But if you ask them, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling real estate that I could help? What are you asking them to do? You're asking them to think. You're not asking them, they're not just going to just give you that immediate, okay, yeah, sure. Because if they do that, they're not thought about it. Asking the right questions and how you ask the right questions are key to the results that you're going to get. So we ask them that key question. One, can you do me a favor? Huge favor. More than likely, you're going to say yes. Two, who do you know that's thinking about buying or selling real estate that you could refer to me? It's going to cause them to think. And no matter what they ask, no matter what answer they give you, say, okay, great, really appreciate that. Third question you're going to ask them, would it be okay if I kept you up to date with the real estate market in your area? They're going to say, sure, absolutely, right? Who doesn't want to know what's happening in their local market? They all want to know. What they don't want to know, and I can guarantee you this, they do not want to know the 10,000 homes that sold in the GTA last month. They could care less about that. What they do care about is they care about the property that came up for sale on their street. They care about the house that sold on their street or neighboring streets. Why? Because these properties are more closely related maybe to their own home, and is a better reflection or indication to them of what their home is probably worth. Yes? Okay. Next question is, great, fantastic. I'm going to get some information out to you. What's your mailing address, Bill? Because here's what I can guarantee you. 90% of the people that you have in your phones, that you have in your database, you have no idea of their address. You know they live in Richmond Hill, but you don't know their address. You know they live in Mississauga, but you don't know their address. Now, your mother or your grandmother would know their address. Why? Because they send them Christmas cards, they send them birthday cards, but we're not doing that stuff. Right? We're in the new age of just sending out emails, and so for the most part, we don't have their mailing addresses. Who can agree with that? Yes? Right? So your key here as a realtor is to collect data. That's your key. Your key is to collect data. If you're not collecting data on your contacts, you're missing a huge opportunity to build a solid real estate business. You're in the data collection business. Once you collect data, you could do the matchmaking afterwards. But if you don't collect the data, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You don't know their timing, you don't know their motivation, you don't know their desires, their likes, their interests, or anything. So don't miss the opportunity on collecting data. It's not just about, oh, you want to buy a house, oh, you want to sell a house? No, it's not about that. That's just the byproduct of collecting the data. First, you got to collect the data. Then the data is going to tell you whether they're going to be a potential buyer, seller, or what have you. Lead with value first. So the statement that I made was, I put this first. I put, great, I'm going to send you some information. I'm leading with the value first, then I'm asking for their address. Does that make sense? I didn't say, okay, great. And by the way, I didn't say, oh, fantastic, where do you live? I did say, I'm going to send you some information. What's your mailing address? There is a significant difference between asking for their mailing address and asking where do they live. Why? Where do you live sounds more threatening, intrusive. You probably haven't even spoken to this person for the past year or 2 years or what have you. But I led with value by saying, I'm going to send you some information. What's your mailing address? And then the perception there is what? I'm going to send them something in the mail. Which is probably true, but more importantly, you want the address to fulfill your value proposition, which was, I'm going to keep you up to date with the market in there. And if you don't have their address, how can you possibly keep them up to date? It's not possible. So, bingo, mailing address. All right, awesome, fantastic. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get some information out to you. Oh, by the way, Bill, what's your best email address? Best email address, because why? Everyone and their grandmother has got 5 email accounts. They got the email account that they don't want to, they'll never open it. They got the email account that they give to the stores that they go to when they're asking them, oh, you know, we want to send you specials and what have you. All right, they got the email account when they want to fly under the radar. I have one of those. Do you have one of those email accounts when you just want to fly under the radar? You don't want anyone to know, you know, who you are. Mine's Curious George. All right. So if you see Curious George showing up anywhere, it's probably me. So don't take for granted that because you've got an email address for Bill, that you have Bill's most current email address. Every time that you speak with people, you should be updating your database. Okay? And the segue to that is, you know, the one bill for, you know, friends and family, right? For important information. You're inserting yourself subliminally into that friends and family quadrant. Okay? Okay, great, Bill. I'm going to make sure that I get some information. Hey, listen, Bill, you know what? You might not even have thought about it. This is your close. You might not even thought about it, Bill. But seeing we're on the phone, seeing we're on the line right now, tell me, if the timing was right for you guys to make a move, when do you think that would be? If the timing was right for you guys to make a move, when do you think that would be? Now, Bill might say to you, hey, listen, you know what? Funny enough, we were just talking about this last night. We're thinking we want to put our house up for sale. Why don't you come on over? What's the chance of that happening? Very slim. In most cases, Bill will say to you, he's going to give you a date in some far distant future where he feels he's not making any commitment. Does that make sense? His Bill says, you know what, a couple of years from now, when kids get out of school, we're probably going to think of downsizing, whatever the case might be. And your job should then be, great, fantastic. Well, listen, I'll still be around and I'll, look forward to be of service to you. If anything comes up in between then, don't hesitate to give me a call, right? Thanks for your time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just a little brief synopsis into reaching out into your database right away, making those phone calls, finding out what their timing and their motivation is. You've got to get onto this database management system in a big way. And the way to do it is getting out of your comfort zone, making those phone calls, people that you've not spoken to in a long time, getting their permission to keep in touch with them, and then restructuring your database. And as you start to do that, then a lot of these things that I'm going to share with you are going to fall into place. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Let me just see where I'm at here. Bingo. Right here. Thank you. Okay, so a well-managed database is key to delivering value, building relationships with your past clients, prospects, referral sources, because without it, countless leads are just going to slip away without you even realizing it. And that's why Exact Contact has got a marketing system that their marketing success system includes Exact Contact, which is the industry's best CRM for realtors. Now, it fully automates all of your contact management activities, making it quick and easy for you to add names, manage contacts, build relationships with those people. Exact Contact also comes with ready-to-go drip email campaigns, keep in touch dashboard to manage all of your communication reminders in one place, listing and buyer management, task management, calendar, and a whole lot more. It's a complete toolbox of real estate CRM and marketing management features to help you to grow your business. Now, I think I'm going to stop that right there for a moment, and I'm going to pop into my Exact Contact. Now, I think there were a couple of you here that says that you're using. Who's using Exact Contact? Let me just see a show of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how would you say, I'm gonna put you guys on the spot right now. How would you say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very little, 10 being the top, how would you say that you're using your Exact Contact right now? Let's start with you.
I haven't started using it yet. I just signed up. I met the guys in Realtor Quest last week.
Yes.
They set me up with the system. They just signed in, the initial setup, but they are waiting for my contact list.
Bingo. Yep. Okay.
I have one. I've had it for 2 years. I barely use it. I put my database in there.
Yes.
Somewhere just to keep it safe.
Yes.
But That's it.
That's it.
Sonia will be using it for me
Yes.
and generating more leads and stuff, so
Bingo.
that's why we're here.
No communication going out to them from IXACT, or maybe there is. You're not quite sure yet.
No.
None. Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. Sharon,
7,
about a 7.
about a 7.
Okay. Cool.
0.5.
0.5.
No, same difference. Like probably 2 years, 2.5 years. It's loaded up with my contacts.
Yes.
I touch base with them with that drip thing, like that monthly newsletter,
Yes.
and that's basically
That's
it.
basically it.
Yeah, that's why I'm here to freaking, kickstart this thing.
Kickstart. Awesome. 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 I love your explicit. That was like. Okay. All right. Let me jump out of this for a second. And let me jump into my IXACT contact account.
See if you get it. I can't get it.
Okay. So here I am. I've logged into my IXACT account. Now here is, some of the very first things that you're going to want to do once you log into your account. Come up here to this question mark. Click on it. Come over here to tutorial videos. Click on it. And I would say, for the most part, come down here to contacts. Click on contacts and watch these tutorials. Using contact groups, performing contact searches, tracking referrals. Okay, now they're not very long. They're only 6 minutes, 8 minutes, 5 minutes. Right? Because there's great value here. I mean, mind you, you've got a system and you're paying for it, right? So if you're paying for it, like this is a no-brainer. This is like this is like the car sitting on the driveway with no gas. So this is the gas right here, right? You gotta come in here and fuel up the brain with how to make this thing run. So that's the first thing that I would do. It will obviously walk you through the keep in touch plans, the activity plans, the mass emails, active business, letters and labels, and all of that good stuff. So let me go back, I think, here. All right, the next thing that I would do is I would come over here to user profile. And I would make sure that everything here is connected. Now, if you're not sure what to do, just click on the setup wizard. When you click on the setup wizard, it's going to walk you through all the steps that you are going to want to do. So if I clicked on the setup wizard right now, it's telling me I can update my password. So I'm a real stickler for passwords. Those of you that have worked with me on a one-on-one basis know that I like to systemize things. I feel, and this is just me, right? I feel that my real estate business, I don't ever want to get locked out of my store. It's like if I was a baker and I showed up at my bakery storefront, I got a lineup of people in the parking lot, and here I am fumbling with my keys trying to open the front door, and I've tried one key after the other, and I can't get it, and I got all these customers outside waiting to come in and buy my bread, but I can't get into my own store. How ludicrous is that? And I see that happening all the time because here's what we do. We let these things control our business. We let our cell phones remember our passwords. We let our laptops, our computers remember we don't even know our own passwords to get into our, like we don't even have the keys to get into our own business. How crazy is that? Sharon says, well, let me see if you can get in because I can't get into mine. Did I have a problem logging into my account?
No.
No.
No, mine's saying the system is down.
And I log into multiple accounts. Multiple. But here's the deal. I have one password for my real estate business. One. Not 3, 4, 5. One. I don't ever want to go to a client's house and trying to log on to somewhere and I can't log in. Because I don't have my laptop or I don't have my cell phone, right? How incompetent am I going to look? I can't even log into my own system. Now, let's face it. We're not trying to create Fort Knox, right? Trust me, if they want to crack and get into your whatever platforms, you can't stop them. So don't blow your brains out, guys, by trying to create these passwords that we don't remember. Systemize things. Make it simple on yourselves, okay? The best format for a password is uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and a symbol. And if you do that, you're good. Uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and a symbol. Typically, you can get away with 10 characters, 8, 9, 10 characters. I probably like to go 9 or 10. I typically will put my symbol on the end just because I might end up on a platform like ROP Network that does not take symbols. ROP Network will not take an exclamation mark or a dollar sign or anything else like that. That's about the only place that I don't use a symbol. Okay, so like anything else, when you register for a website or when you register for a platform anywhere, they're going to give you a password. The very first thing you want to do, log in, change the password. Change the default password they've given you to your own password that you will remember. So that's what this is. So let's skip this. Next one is, you're going to want to make sure that you've got everything the way that you want it to be. See, I've not updated my address yet, Sharon. Bad me.
I see that.
Yes. But I got my name. You want to have your company name. You want to have your address. You want to have your phone number. Now, this part's really important because this phone number that shows up here is going to be like the default number that's going to end up somewhere else. So you might probably think, well, I've got my mobile number here, so I'm going to put my office number here. You could, but I'm going to recommend that you put your number here. Okay, you'll see why a little bit later on. If you've got a toll-free number, if you've got a fax number, if you've got a website address, you want to make sure that you do that. We're going to save and continue. Now, the setup of your standard email header. Now, why is a header important? I think a header is important because you're in business. I believe that as a business owner, you're going to want to have some degree of communication via direct mail. Yes? One of the very first things, who's got direct mail? Who's got stationery? Let me just see a show of hands. Who's got stationery for their business? I'm talking envelopes, letterhead, thank you cards. No? Okay, all right. Envelopes and letterheads. Who's got envelopes and letterheads? 1, 2, 3. Very important. for you to have stationery for your business. It's not just all about email. Trust me, emails are very ineffective, although we do them. But the open rate on email is only about 20, 25% tops. And that's from people that know you. They look at the subject line, not ready for that. They're not opening it. But if you send them a letter, chances are they're going to receive that letter where? In their house, in their home, at the most important place where you want to be able to communicate with them. Unlike an email that they're going to read it where?
On the toilet.
Bingo, right? The most insignificant place, all right? So direct mail is king. Invest some money in stationery because you're going to want to increase the level of your communication to your contacts. You're going to want to send them something in the mail, okay? So it's important to have an email header because your letterhead is more than likely going to have a header, all right? So what does this email header look like? So let's continue with the setup. Now, this is the classic email header. Upload your photo, upload your logo, and it's pulling in the contact information from the screen that we were on before. A more modern header would look like this. You got your roller page red, you've got your roller page logo, your company information. Now remember I had mentioned that your phone number, where your phone number would show up? So that, if we had put in the office number, it would be the office number again. I think you probably want to have your own number there, okay? You've got the office number as your toll-free number down at the bottom. Totally up to you. So there goes the standard header type. So we're going to save and continue. Now, we want to set up your signature. I spoke about this a little bit earlier on. Having your email signature as professional looking as possible. Mine's a little bit of an exception to the rule after having said that, but I would typically have an email signature that looks at least something with the roller page logo in it, okay? And your social media icons, so on and so forth. But whatever your email signature is, if you've got your email signature in your email account set up, let's typically say our Gmail account, then whatever your email signature is in your Gmail account should be the exact same signature that you have over here. So what you want to do is you want to copy that, you want to come in here, paste it in, so that your email signatures are the same. One of my biggest challenges and recommendations is to be consistent. You want to be consistent so that you're showing up looking the same way all the time or as much as possible, okay? So we're going to save and continue. Next step is setting up of the e-newsletter. So let's open that up. Now what's great with IXACT Contact is that every single month you are going to, IXACT Contact is going to design an email newsletter that's going to be amazing. You don't have to do anything. They're going to provide all the content. All you have to do is assign your contact to be able to receive the newsletter, and it's going to go out automatically for you. And I'm talking about well-written content, okay? Now, decide when do you want your email to go out. By default, it's going to go out on the first of the month. I'm not a big fan of the first of the month because I find everyone's got a whole bunch of stuff they're dealing with on the first of the month. They're dealing with mortgages, they're dealing with rent, they're dealing with bills, they're dealing with all that kind of stuff. So I send mine out on the first Saturday of the month. And for me, that works, okay? You can indicate if you want to include it in your calendar. I don't feel it's necessary, totally up to you. Decide who's going to get this newsletter. So if I manually enter someone into my database, they are automatically assigned to the newsletter. So I like that feature. Any lead capture contacts automatically get the newsletter. And I could add any sync contacts or any imported contacts. That's totally up to you. So I'm going to hit save and continue. We're good with that? Yep. Setting up your birthday events. Now, I'm going to hit continue. Never miss an opportunity. Stay in touch with to stay in touch. Set a birthday. Keep in touch events to send you automatic reminders to acknowledge your important contacts. Now this is huge. People love celebrating their birthdays. Yes, this is a great opportunity for you to reach out and connect with people in your database. So, include it in your calendar. Yes, most definitely. Send a reminder. That all depends. You know, how actively engaged you are with your calendar. If you're actively engaged with your calendar, you won't need a reminder. If you're not actively engaged with your calendar, give yourself a reminder. 7 days is probably about a good thing. If you feel that you want to pop into the store to go grab a birthday card or whatever the case might be, or you've got, you know, standard formatted thank you cards or, hey, thinking of you. Hey, I know it's your birthday coming up soon. Want to take the opportunity to wish you a happy birthday. You could just have a standard card that says thinking of you that you could use for anything. So then you want to give yourself a reminder to send them a card. Create a task to send a birthday card gift with a due date, so many days before their birthday. You can automatically assign contacts with the birthday to the birthday event, and I would definitely check that. That is a must. And then the auto send e-card on birthday. So you could do an auto send e-card. You noticed I haven't got that checked. That's just me. Everybody sends e-cards. I don't want to send e-cards. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to send them a physical card in the mail. And I want to pick up the phone and call them. I don't want to just say happy birthday Facebook style. Everybody does that. I could probably do that. But I'm definitely going to go the extra mile to pick up the phone and call them, or I'm going to go the extra mile to send them something in the mail. So that's totally up to you. If you want to do the auto send, you can certainly select that, and that will take you through the process to set that up. So let's hit save and continue. Setting up your move-in anniversary event details. This by far has got to be the most significant part, in my opinion. People tend to do things as far as their house is concerned around their home anniversary dates. Whether it be that their mortgage is coming up for renewal and they're thinking what? Oh, maybe we're gonna take some equity out, buy an investment property. Or maybe it's time to sell. Maybe it's time to move. You know, I don't wanna do anything because I don't wanna pay the penalty, so I'm not gonna break the mortgage. But hey, guess what? Mortgage is gonna come up for renewal in 6 months. Then we should be looking to downsize or looking for a larger home. Family's growing, time to make a move. So it's very important for you to have these home anniversary dates. Where do you get the dates from? From where?
Closing document.
Yeah. Closing document, yes, absolutely. Stratus, Geo Warehouse. Here's the deal. Not everyone in your database is going to be a past client, yes? You're going to have some family member and friends that are in there that you're also going to want to extend this level of value-added services that you're going to be providing them. Everyone in your database, you should know their home anniversary date if they're our homeowner. They're a homeowner, you should know their home anniversary date. Why? You want to make sure that you reach out to them to provide them with a market update, at the very least. Hey, thought you'd like to know, I know it's been a few years now since you've been in your home, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I give you an update on on your neighborhood. You might not want to specifically say, hey, it's your home's market value, because chances are you've probably not been in it. But at the very least, you can give them a market update, and that's what you should be calling it. I'm gonna give you a market update. This is what's happening in your neighborhood, right? This is how many detached homes have sold, this is how many townhouses have sold, this is how many semi-detached homes that have sold, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you would like a market evaluation, I'd be happy to pop by. You come and take a look at your home, see some of the improvements that you've made, and in that way I can give you a more specific home evaluation, if that's what they want. But at the very least, you should be offering them a market update, all right? So how do you do that? Setting up your home anniversary, include it in your calendar, send a reminder 7 days before. If you want to create a task to send them a gift, boom, how many days you want to do it, all of that stuff, set it up in there. This one's very important, automatically assign contacts with a move-in date to the event. So that's key. Save and continue. Enable reminders, I've got that checked. Email preferences, I've selected Ontario because most of my clients are in Ontario. I've decided, you know what, Dear is a little bit too formal. I don't want to use Dear John. I could select from this drop down, you know, greetings, hello, hey, hi, holla, right? If that be the case. But this is where you do that. You just set it right here, but primary phone number. What's their primary phone number? You know, most people don't even have a home phone anymore. So primary phone number is mobile. I could select from any of these options here. Save and continue. Setting up your automated lead capture. I've got this enable lead capture via email. And what that means is that you have your very own specific email address with exact contact, that if you were to email lead contact information to this email address, it would automatically be inserted into your exact contact CRM. That's what that does. So if you're sending data into your exact contact CRM, then it needs to go to that email address. Send yourself an automatic email notification for each new lead. Yes. Send me an SMS text notification of each new lead. You can check that, but that requires you to have an additional service through exact contact. I'm not going to go into that right now, so until you know what that entails, I would not check that. Next step is to send us your contact list. You want to click here to select your contact file from your computer, send it to them, and they will get your account set up for you. I don't think that I needed to check that. No, I'm going to skip that. Create team is optional. I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to skip that. Create your agent website. I'm not going to go into that. Continue. Oh, by the way, those individuals that do have exact contact, do you have their website? Let me see a show of hands. One. Okay. All right. That's it. All right. They've added some new features to that website, actually, so you might want to double check with them see what that's about. I think that this is a great tool, which is your social stream. A lot of us struggle with, what to post, when to post, and things like that on social networks. And I'm a big believer in social media, but I believe it is more important to have a presence on social media than it is for you to actually be present on social media. I don't know if that flew over your heads or if you got that. Yeah? I find agents spend way too much time on social media, per se. My concept is, and I would challenge each of you to do this, I would challenge each of you to take a look at your social media accounts and ask yourself this question. Are my social media profiles consistent? Number one. Okay? Do I have the same image on each of my social media profiles? Number two. You are your image, you are your brand. Nike doesn't change their swish from going right to going left, right? It's always the same. So what does your brand look like? Right? Are you showing up one way looking like this and another way looking like that? All right? Have you updated your social profiles? If you're just recently getting into real estate, does your social profile still show your previous career as your current career? Or does it show that you're now a realtor? Or does your social profile still show you as being at Brock University and not necessarily a realtor? Right? If you Google yourself, what are you seeing? These things are really important because your biggest referral partner, I'm going to tell you, is not your friends and family. Your biggest referral partner is actually Google. All right? Who's received a referral lately from a friend or family member? All right, so here's what I'm going to share with you. I can almost guarantee you that if that person that was referred to you had a conversation with the person who sent you the referral, and that they knew who you were before you contacted them, they would have Googled you. They would have looked you up. Why? Because they want to get a point of reference. They want to know who you are before they call you. They want to know who you are before they speak with you. So how are you showing up? Right? How is Google showing you to prospective clients? And so that's something that's very important for you to work on. Yet it's important to have content. And so sometimes we struggle with what to post, when to post, and all that. And you don't want to do that. Exact Contact, their social stream is only $20 per month. For them to take care of all of the content for you to have on your social networks.
Is that only for Facebook? Do you know if it's for Instagram as well?
I don't think it's only for Facebook. But is your time worth more than $20 per month? Okay, all right. And this is going back to what I said earlier on, that if I found a system that was going to even give me one benefit, and it was going to cost me $20, $30, $40, $50 a month for one feature, if I felt that one feature gave me the leg up, gave me the leverage, then it's worth it. Because I don't want to spend time trying to figure out what to post. All right. The other thing that we have to be very careful of. Who's on Facebook? Actually, let me reverse that question. Who is not on Facebook? Okay, Emmy.
Yes.
How come? What's up?
I mainly work for Chinese community. We use WeChat instead of Facebook a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Everything WeChat.
Well, WeChat is like a SMS messaging, right?
No, we
Is that a visual platform also? Yeah, pardon my ignorance, forgive me. Okay, all right. Cool. So you're on social media. All right. So here's the thing, on your Facebook personal profile, which is where I want to go with this, on your Facebook personal profile, do not inundate your personal profile with real estate posts. Everyone knows you're a realtor, right? Social media is all about social. People want to know who you are. They want to know your likes. They want to know your interests. What can you tell me about me than anyone that knows me? You know I'm a big foodie. You know I love going out to restaurants and eating and all that kind of stuff. You know I'm a big fan of the Raptors, Formula One racing. Go Raptors, go, man. We're doing it tonight. You got it. Right? And so it's important that you post relevant content, meaningful content, and that you streamline where the content actually shows. All your real estate things and everything like that, very important that you have them on your own personal business page, not your personal profile, but on your business page, because your business page is going to give you statistics and insights that your personal page cannot give you. And it's important for you to have statistics and insights for your social media content. All right? So there's a plug for Social Stream. I think it's great. All right, so here we are. Finish the wizard. Done. So if I were to go in all of these tabs for this one, contact info and address, that's all of this stuff here. If I come over here to email header, now we've got a couple of different options. We've got the option here, which is our standard header, which we did in the setup. But we've also got the option for a custom header. Now, in the option for the custom header, this is what your custom header option could look like. I've got my own personal branding in my custom header. So this is just as simple as making sure that my image is, let me just see. Nope, cancel this. I believe that the image width, can I? Oh, sorry. Here it is right here. Silly me. So the recommended width for your custom header is 580 pixels. And that's very important because if you put a header in here that's way too big, then your header is going to go over here and your email content is going to be here. All right, so you want to make sure that you've got your header in the right width. And if you don't know how to adjust a picture or crop a picture, use Canva, canva.com. It's a great product. It's free. And you can go in there and you can do great things. So there's your email header. There's my email header. Here is my standard header. Here is my custom header. And so you're going to want to do this. Include the selected email header for all new mass emails. So I'm saying include this custom header for all of my mass emails. It'll go out. Fantastic. I'm going to come across here, check my signature. Here's my signature. Done. Now you're going to want to go to keep in touch. Now this is extremely important. In your keep in touch section, you're going to want to uncheck this. Most of you have this checked. Enable keep in touch calls. Uncheck that. Enable keep in touch coach is what you want to have. If you enable your Keep in Touch coach, and if you're not sure what that is, just come on over here, click the help sign. It will tell you. The Keep in Touch coach is a dashboard widget that automatically tells you which contacts to reach out to next based on the contact status and the Keep in Touch frequency set for each status. So in other words, this is going to be like your mini coach. You're going to show up and it's going to say to you, let's see if I come over here. How about this? No. Okay, so let's come back. How about this? Cancel, dashboard. Okay. All right, so here's my Keep in Touch coach. My Keep in Touch coach is telling me, hey, I need to reach out and call this person. And if I reach out and I call this person, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click on Prospecting Update. I'm going to say, hey, what did I do? I reached out. I phoned this person, or I sent them a handwritten note, or I did a pop by, or a listing presentation, buy presentation, annual real estate review. What was it? Let's just say I did a phone call, right? So let's say I spoke to Dennis, and whatever my notes are. And I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna hit save, done. Now it's popped to the next person, right? I'm gonna say prospecting update, let's come over here. What was the activity? Actually phone call. I'm gonna make a notes, send me a referral, and I'm gonna hit save. And then, so each time you speak with someone, each time you go through your database, each time you go through your contacts, it is going to update the history of that contact. More importantly is this. Actually, I'm going to come back to that because I don't want to skip something. So let me go back to where I was before. But can you see how helpful that is? Yes? Okay. All right. So where was I? Right here. So keep in touch. Turn on your Keep in Touch coach. It's going to have all of these frequencies. It's going to kind of come, not necessarily preset, but I'm going to show you how that's going to get set up for you in just a second. I'm not going to do lead capture or email. It's pretty standard. We went through that a little bit earlier on. Everything here is done fine. Okay, so now, if I come back to the top, which is where I was, I started here at user profile. So I've done a couple of things. I'm recommending that you do a couple of things. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, can I just go back to email header from WhatsApp?
Yes.
Can you not do an email header at all?
Yes, you can.
So just if you, is it just unselecting that checkbox and that's no email header, is that right?
Good point. All right, so let me do that. Let me do that for a second.
Because I'm thinking, you want your emails maybe to seem a little more like an email as opposed to a branded, like he does commercials, so I'm kind of thinking about his clientele, and I think it would be more appropriate to do it that way without an email header and just stick with the consistent signature. That's kind of where my thought process is going here.
I think you can.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So let me just figure this out for a second.
Sure, sorry.
Include the selected email header for all new emails. So let's say that we do that and we hit save. Okay. Would you like to update? I'm going to say yes. So now I'm going to go to let's go to Keep in Touch. Monthly newsletter. It's asking me to select a header type, and I think that
It says they're exclude under the email header.
yeah.
So
So,
Yeah, I could exclude it even if I didn't make that change, but let me just see. Let me just give me a second. Let me cancel that. Let's go to mass email. I'm going to go to monthly newsletter. I can exclude the email header here. If I preview, all right, so this is the monthly newsletter with the content, at least 3 pieces of articles and then some quotes. Okay, so if I were to send that without the header, let's close that, exclude, preview. Yeah. All right. And then let me close that. Let me include custom preview. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And then let me hit save. And I believe that we were just in like regular emails. So if I go to an email template, you see what I got down here. Making real estate transactions easy.
It was right up at the top. You can exclude it again.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm wondering. See, this is, you'd have to go into each email template to do that, right? To decide whether you want to include it or not. So I think right now it's excluded because of the setting that I did when you asked. Okay?
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yes. So let's just go back to the last email.
Are you gonna touch on that 2,500 a month or whatever it is? I don't know what that is. On the monthly newsletter, somewhere near the bottom, there's like, do you want to reach out to your 2,500 contacts? I guess it's an IXACT kind of feeds us 2,500 leads. I don't know. Whatever that is.
Yes, I'm gonna do that for you just a second. I did it somewhere. Where did I do it? Let's go back to mass email.
Yeah, monthly newsletter.
Now there was a section where I was at where I
sorry.
took off the email header.
It wasn't here.
I'll try to figure it out. Anyway, not so important. All right, so again, log in, go to your help section, make sure you watch those tutorials, complete your profile. There is something here that I think I want to go into, which is no, not there. Let me come back over here. I think it is probably here, profile.
yeah, I think it's in here, you check. Finger keep in touch.
Email header.
Oh, yeah, here.
Here, include selected custom header. Thank you. Save. Done. Update, yes. All right, so here's something I want to share with you that's really important, and this is synchronizing services. So you're going to want to synchronize your IXACT contact account with your Gmail account or your mobile device. So I recommend doing a Google Sync. It will help you with not having to physically import in your contacts into IXACT contact. So if I go into my utilities right now, I could see that I've got all of these individuals here who have been synced. I've not necessarily accepted them, but I could come down here and I could accept any of these contacts that I've probably added to my phone on the fly, right? But they're not necessarily in my exact contact database. So if I add someone to my phone, it's automatically going to sync to my exact contact, but then I have to give exact contact permission to actually add them into my database. So they're synced, but they're just sitting in a kind of reservoir. And then you get to decide whether or not you want to act, whether or not you want to, add them in to your database or not. Okay? So that is basically the setup right there. I'm going to go through some of these things through you. I'm going to go through reports. Now, being able to generate a report that will help you identify who should I be speaking with, who should I be reaching out to and calling, is as simple as coming in and running a report based on the data that you have in your exact contact. So for example, I could either do a birthday list, or I could take a look at my calendar, for example. Let's say if I go into my calendar. Oh, thank you. Okay. So here is my one of my calendars. Now, if you notice, we've got birthdays, we've got buyer agency agreement, birthdays, spouses' birthdays. We've got my birthday. Whoa, woohoo! All right, so now all of this is coming from my exact contact. So if I came into exact contact and I said, I want to run a report based on birthdays. So we are in the month of June. So I could come in, run a birthday report for the month of June, and say, hey, these are the individuals that I have in my database who's got a birthday coming up. So I could print this out at the beginning of the month, or you could print this out at the beginning of the month, and you could say, hey, I want to make sure that for the month of July, that I reach out and I connect with these people because their birthday's coming up, and I want to help them to celebrate their birthday. Similarly, more importantly, property purchase date, anniversary dates coming up in the month of July. We have one there with their anniversary date coming up in the month of July. We have in June, oops. Doesn't sound right. Let me go back. move-in date anniversary report. That's where I should be at. So my mistake, not property purchase date, move-in date. All right, so the move-in date in the month of June could look something like this, where you're going to want to reach out and provide them with some kind of a market update, whatever that looks like for you. And if you want to, I just did something that was kind of special the other day. So I went through my database, for example, took a look at some move-in dates. So 1989, January 5th. 1999, there was one that I had on there that was like which one is it? This one, okay, all right. And I didn't even sell them that property. That's my uncle, actually. But yeah, 1987. So remember, I said, like, your moving anniversary dates do not necessarily have to be your own client. I mean, it could be someone that's a family member, a friend, or something like that. But I did have someone in here who I sold them their property back in where are we at now? 2019. So it was 87, I think, or 88, probably 89. So if I did a search for contact, and I took a look at their, okay, moving date, March 31st, 1989. So March 31st, 1989 was their moving anniversary, and we did this. So I probably would have to go to pictures.
A lot of basketball.
Yes. No houses for sale. You notice that? Right? No real estate stuff. Here they are. All right? So congratulations to Paulette and Heller on your 30-year home anniversary. To think that way back in 1989, you trusted me, a rookie realtor, to sell your home in Rexdale and move you all the way to Ajax. Bet you never thought we'd be neighbors. Again, congratulations and thanks for being such amazing clients and friends, right?
So they're in the same house still? Or?
They're in the same house.
Wow.
30 years.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, with their kids. Well, their kids are grown up now, but this is their two boys, right? So, I mean, it was great to look back. It was great to look back in my report and see that, hey, there's this milestone coming up. How great would it be to go out and celebrate it with these folks? These things are really important. They're really significant. They're not to be taken lightly, but it all starts with the data. Earlier on, I said, we have to become data collectors. But more importantly, not just collecting the data, but implementing it, put it in places where it can help us. Okay, How are we doing on time? Oh my gosh, are we serious? Is it 11:38 already? I told you I like to talk, right?
I'm not here till one.
You need to pay.
I thought it said one.
Huh?
Registered.
Yes. Did someone say? We need a?
Lunch?
No,
Great.
Try.
no.
No, I was saying when I registered, it said from 10 to 1.
Yeah.
You mentioned 12, so we,
Okay, all right, yeah, no, we're good.
okay.
Yeah, bingo. All right. So that explains that part. That's this little one down here, reports, okay? All right, now let's go into this one, goal setting. Goal setting. All right, what does your goal setting look like? Well, you can come in and you can set a goal. Mine's already set up. So if we say how much gross commission income would you like to make this year? Right? If these are your numbers, let's say 300,000 or 200,000 or whatever the case might be, right? Let's just go through one, just to give you a little bit of an example. Does someone want to give me a number, or do you want to stick with this one? You want to give me another number?
100,000.
Huh?
100.
100,000? Okay, 100,000. Let's just say that this is the effective start, January 1st. Okay? What's your average gross commission per transaction?
15,000.
15,000? Okay. What percentage of your closed transactions are seller listings? 50-50? What percentage of your listings become closed transactions?
70.
70%. So 70% of your listings sell. Okay. And then what percentage of your listing presentations result in a listing?
80.
80% of your listing presentations?
Yeah.
Okay, what percentage of your buyer presentations result in a buyer sale? Yeah, what percentage of your buyer presentations result in a buyer representation agreement or a buyer transaction? 90%? Okay, enter the effective date, so January 1st. Okay, how many weeks do you plan to work out of 52? Huh? Okay, how many weeks off do you want?
46.
4 weeks.
4 weeks off?
Yeah.
Okay,
June 28.
okay. All right, how many contacts would you like to add to your database this year? Hmm? 100? Okay. Yeah, don't worry about these numbers that you see here. Just give me whatever numbers you like. And it doesn't have to be, this is not rocket science, it doesn't have to be concrete, it doesn't have to be accurate. This is just to show you what the system can do. How many referrals would you like to get this year?
Oh, at least 20.
20?
No,
200, yeah.
yeah, sure.
Okay. How many phone calls to your database?
From the database?
How many phone calls to your database?
Okay.
How many phone calls per week? You said you're going to work 48 weeks.
Yeah. So every day one. Let's say 100.
How many calls per day to your database?
Let's say 1.
1 call per day?
Yeah.
So that's 5, 10, 15, 20. How many weeks did we say? 46 weeks? 48 weeks? 1 call per day? So we said 48 weeks?
Yeah.
5 days per week?
Yeah.
Somebody give me the math? 240? Okay, how many handwritten notes? So you spoke to 240 people, you called 240 people. How many of those people are you going to send a handwritten note to saying, hey, great, nice speaking with you, thanks for your time? How many?
Let's say half.
Okay, so what do we have, 140, 240, 120?
Yeah.
All right, how many Popeyes? Same thing?
Yeah.
How many listen presentations would you like to make this year? Give me a number.
Let's say 100.
Well, hold on a second.
That doesn't match.
No, it doesn't match your goal. I'm going to say 20. How many buyer presentations? Let's just say 16. How many annual real estate reviews would you like to do this year? How many people did you add to your database?
100.
You added 100, so let's say 50. All right, so based on these numbers, right, IXACT is going to say, hey, you need to do 5 listing presentations, 4 listings, you're going to get 4 listings, 3 closed listings, 3 buyer presentations, 3 buyer deals closed, and you need to make 100 phone calls to get 20 referrals, 240 phone calls, 100 contacts, 20 referrals, 240 phone calls, 120 handwritten notes, 120 pop buys, all of that, hours worked 48, okay? So that is going to be based on these activities, you're going to get these results. Now, where does this show up? Let me show you where it shows up. It shows up over here in your dashboard based on your activity. So it's going to say, hey, here are your goals. Here's your year-to-date goals based on your activity, based on your goal that you just created. It's going to say, here's your year-to-date goals, and here are your activities. You notice today that I made 2 phone calls? Those are the 2 individuals whose contact information I updated. So bam, it's going to show you your 2 phone calls right here. And it'll tell you whether you are on track or not on track. Now mine's obviously not filled in because I'm using multiple systems and what have you. But if you want to track, if you want a system to help you to keep on track with your day-to-day activities, hey, am I making my phone calls? Am I going on my buyer presentations? Didn't I say to turn all phones off? Eric.
Unbelievable.
You know? Holy smithereens. Where did we go? Where are we? Did I just lose everything? Oh, what browser did I have open? It must have been a Google Chrome. Couldn't have been this one. Now I'm ticked off. Sorry about that. Okay.
You also teach audio network?
Yes,
You do?
I do.
When?
I did it a quick start. Were you there?
Yes.
Did you get the notes?
Yes, I think.
Have you followed through with any of it?
You thought that early page downtown, right?
No.
Oh, then I didn't, then I did something. Quick start.
Okay, all right. So basically, you can see how the goal setting ties in with what shows up on your dashboard, correct?
Yes.
All right, awesome. I'm gonna skip business directory. I'm gonna go into keep it in touch. Keep it in touch is gonna show how many people you've got on your monthly newsletter, how many people you've got assigned to birthdays, how many people you've got assigned to your moving anniversary. So everything's gonna show up right there. Activity plans. Under activity plans, this is kind of what makes Exact Contact a plug and play platform. So you've got a whole series of marketing plans that comes as a default with the platform. These marketing plans, now mine's been customized a little bit, but it's still the same thing. We just kind of go to page 2, for example. Okay? So for example, here we've got a 90-day for sale by owner prospecting plan. Here we've got a 6-month after purchase nurturing plan. I'm not sure if that came with it or if I created that myself. Probably did come with it. Here we've got a 5-year sphere of influence nurturing plan. I really like this 5-year sphere of influence nurturing plan. Now, it does come with some first-time buyer plans who are currently renting. Now, a lot of us, especially brand new agents, a lot of our initial transactions actually come from leases, yes? During rental leases? These individuals are great prospects for future purchases. But you've got to put them on a plan. You've got to put them on some kind of an ongoing campaign that's going to speak to them about the value that you bring to them as an agent in helping them to buy a home. So let's take a look at that plan, for example. Now, it probably comes as a default with a 2-year prospecting plan for a first-time buyer. And I might have converted it to 3 years or converted it to 1 year. Pretty basic, very easy to do. But let's just pop in and take a look at this one, for example. So here's a 2-year plan. So it starts with an email that goes out 7 days after the plan starts. Then 37 days, another email. Then 67 days, it's going to prompt you to give them a call. Then 97 days, 127 days, 167 days, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, until that plan is completed. So all you've got to do is basically assign that prospect to this plan, and the rest takes care of itself. Now, you might want to come in and adjust some things, but I don't think there's a whole lot that you need to adjust. If I open up this first email, it says that you've taken the first step on a very exciting road, a road that leads to you owning your first dream home. Congratulations. Should you decide to work with me, I can help you find and buy a home, perhaps a lot sooner and more affordably than you might think. And then it goes on to list some things that you can help them to do. Discover what kind of mortgage you can qualify for, identify homes on the market, negotiate the best price, make sure everything goes smoothly, etc., and a whole lot more. So this would be an ideal campaign to put someone on. And if we take a look at what it says here, it says this plan will be used to keep in touch with a prospect who's currently renting and who has expressed an interest in buying their first home. Again, remember we spoke and it says, one of your goals, one of your plans should be to identify individuals' timing and motivation, right? You know, what do they want to do and when do they want to do it? And what I've done is I've basically taken that plan and I have created a 1-year plan and also a 3-year plan out of the exact same thing. We've got a 4-month high-touch plan, prospecting plan for buyers, also a generic nurturing plan, also a seller prospecting plan. Here's a 2-year seller prospecting plan. So these plans, they're great. They're awesome. And it's better to have someone on these plans than have them on nothing at all. Okay?
When you have them on these plans, do they still get that monthly newsletter?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. How about listing plans? What do you do when you get a brand new listing? You do the same thing over and over and over again. All right? So when you do something over and over again, you might as well just systemize it. Okay? Okay? Systemize it so that things don't fall through the cracks. So that something that you know that needs to be done doesn't get overlooked because you got caught up doing something else. That's what these systems are for. So it comes with these plans. I think that here is the plan that it comes with. So it's going to say, hey, first thing, you put up the for sale sign, enter it into the MLS, stage and photograph the property, create feature sheet, create just-listed flyer, notify your database, install the lockbox, schedule office tour, schedule agent tour, add listen to website, add listen to Facebook, send client service report, run an ad, open house, send client a service report, run an ad, open house, send client a service report, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? Get price reduction, update MLS, update website. So it's going to go through a whole task of things that you should do. Now, what you can do is you can come in here and you can come in here and you can simply copy the plan, right? And then when you copy the plan, you rename it. Once you've renamed it, then you can go into the plan and then you can basically edit or remove whatever items you don't want. If there's anything in there that you feel is not applicable for you, then you can remove it. Similarly, what do you do when you have a closing? When you have a closing, a transaction is going to close. So you got a listing closing plan, which is different than the buyer closing plan, right? So a buyer waiting to close plan. Now, I think that I might have done this on my own. I can't recall, but it's not that very difficult to do. So immediately when I've got a buyer who we've gone on the contract, offer's been accepted, boom, they're in my system, bingo, this plan, I'm going to automatically apply this plan to them. And it's going to take care of some of the mundane things and at least some of the communications that I might not remember to do because I'm busy doing other things. So what does that plan look like? Well, congratulations, your offer has been accepted. Hey, I got a task, I got to send the offer off for financing. Is there an inspection that's going to get done? And then you'll notice this one here says 3 days before closing, right? So we've got an email that's going out to them that says something like this. Hey, the time you've been waiting for is here. What to do on moving day? Are you ready? It's not that difficult to make the whole process go smoothly. Just follow the steps I'm sending you and you'll be in control, right? Plan to spend the entire day at the house. Carry jewelry and valuable documents with you. Stay with the moving van or the driver to oversee the inventory. Be sure to tell packers and drivers about fragile and precious items, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I've sent this to them before. I probably sent this to them 4 weeks to closing, 6 weeks to closing. But again, this is just a reminder. You know, get the utilities, do this, do that, so on and so forth.
So Eric, are these plans set it and forget it?
Absolutely. It's the same thing that you do over and over and over again. I mean, you can't over inform your contacts, your clients. Trust me. They're not going to get upset with you for sending them reminders or for letting them know, hey, how much you value them as clients, or for reminding them of the great job that you did. They're not going to get upset with you. But I can almost guarantee you there are a lot of us that are not doing these things. We sell someone a property, but then there's no consistent email communication or follow-up with them. We've sold them and we've left them. They've purchased them, we've left them. Yes, if you remember, we'll give them a call. But there's no consistent plan in place. Now, this is okay if you're doing 1 deal a month, but it's not okay if you're doing 10 deals a month. You're going to forget stuff, right? And this is why you need systems to help you to keep on track with the things that need to get done.
Can you edit? I see.
100%.
And when you edit, is it just for that client, or is it edit?
No, it's for the plan.
The plan period.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, these are plans, right? So I'm going to cancel that. Here is a plan for a listing closing plan. A listing closing plan, right? What's happened with the deposit check? Has it gone to the office? Has the listing been updated? Have you confirmed the inspection with the buyer? Have you sent a client a progress report? Right? Now, when you copy this plan, there's nothing that says that you have to do everything. This is an eye opener. This is for you to take this plan and to customize it and to make it your own. Okay? And if you've got an assistant, that person needs to know what to do. Saves you from having to remind them, hey, do this, do that, do this, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that. These systems are geared towards taking stuff off the top of your mind, so you don't have to keep doing it. So those are activity plans. So far, so good? Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, letters and labels. So I'm a big fan of Exact Contact for this reason also. As a matter of fact, every email letter that you get with Exact, every email letter that you get also comes with a letter version. See, you might have clients or contacts that are not into email. Maybe some of your older clients don't use email. So then you're going to want to send them a printed version. Right? And what does that look like? All right, so here is a letter, and I say, I like this letter, I'm gonna use it. I can decide, do I want to include my header in this letter? And I'm not gonna include my header. Why? Because I'm printing it on my stationery, right? So why would I include the header? So I'm not including the header, I'm gonna print it on my stationery. Do I want to include the address? Yes, I could include the address, yes. Do I want to include my letter salutation? And for whatever reason, in this particular case, I've got to exclude. And so now, do I want to include my signature? I can decide if I want to include it or not, depending on what the letter is. Do I want to record it in the contact record that I've sent this letter? And yes, I want to include it. Do I want to print labels or envelopes? Yes, I want to print, let's say I could decide I want to print an envelope, and then I'm going to decide what kind of envelope do I want to print. Maybe I'm printing center feed. If I'm printing just one letter, I'll just run it through my printer. If I'm printing a series of letters, I might use labels, okay? Then I want to preview the letter, and say I want to preview it. This is the letter that I want to send. I'd probably make some adjustments so it doesn't end up on 2 pages. And now I want to do a print mail merge. So now doing a print mail merge, well okay. It now wants me to select a contact. So I've got to select a contact. Who do I want to send that letter to? Let's say I want to send it to this person. Select contacts. Now I want to do a mail merge. Print this mail merge letter. And let's say I go, bam, I'm going to print that. Then it shows up in a PDF document format, at which time I'm going to select file and print, send it to my printer, make sure my letterhead is in, and then bam, it's done. All right, and so that's how you get to send a letter to either one individual or to hundreds of people. Yes.
Now, if you want to edit this, that you said you want to make sure everything is in one page, can you just edit this over here, or what do you have to do?
I would edit that. I would edit that right here.
I see. Now, if you happen to want to send something that's you created outside of this platform, and you wanted to send that as a PDF, can you also do that?
Yes, you would come in here, and you would go to create new letter.
And from there, you can upload whatever that you have.
And then from there, copy and paste the letter.
I see.
Not an attachment, right? Although you can send attachments. So it depends what that content is, right? So that is letters. Now you've got the same letters under mass email. Pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything complicated about mass emails. But I want to go to active business because this is really key. Active business.
Hold on, before you get there, back to the mass emails. Remember, I touched on that 2,500 customer thingy. You go into your newsletter, please. Scroll down. Right there. See, it says current available emails, 2,200 purchase emails. What is that whole section about?
Yeah, that's you get to send 2,500 emails per month without any additional charges. If you go over the $2,500, there's going to be additional charges.
So you're saying if I have 2,500 clients, they're no charge?
Bingo.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking at that purchase emails. What are you, am I purchasing like clients? Like I didn't get it.
Yeah, if you go over a certain amount, then you have
I didn't
to
know
pay
that.
for
I
it.
thought I would be buying leads or something. I never went into that, but
Right.
That's the cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, the platform is limited to 2,500 clients.
No.
Well, it is for free. 2,500 emails.
Well, it's not free. You're paying a monthly cost, right? So
You get
So in-
25 a month.
All right.
So
Right.
what is the monthly cost? Sorry, I just don't know the fee structure.
the monthly cost is $39 per month if you pay monthly, and I think it's $33 per month if you pay for the year. Yes.
One more question I have regarding the contacts. So contacts, some of them they're in your email, some of them you have on your phone, some of them you have it on your social media such as Facebook or elsewhere, right?
Yes.
How do you get all these emails or contacts or birthdays and things like that? Because if you happen to have a lot of clientele, if you want to sync everything into the system, does the system has a way to do this from socials and things like that, or no?
No. So, great question. All right, so one of the easiest ways to do this is one, do your Google sync first. So maybe your phone, sync your phone to your Google contacts, and then sync your Google contacts to your IXACT contact. That's probably one of the first ones. Your other ones, as far as social media, no, it's not so easy to. You can actually export your Facebook contacts, but it takes a lot of work stripping all of that out and everything because there's so many other things that are in there, but it can be done. It's a manual process. It's not an automated process, that's for sure. Right? And then the task is to get on the phone, make those calls, right? And don't think that you could just send out an email blast and everybody's going to do what you would like them to do. It doesn't work like that. You've got to take the time to get on the phones, make the calls. This is a relationship business, right? And so that's what needs to be done.
My question is, before we send out these emails, do we need the person's permission to send them emails?
Well, yeah, this is what I said
Yes.
earlier on. When you make those
We
phone
have to confirm one by one.
bingo.
Yeah, okay.
When you make the phone call, right, that's what you're doing. You're making the phone call, you're establishing the relationship, you're getting their permission to keep in touch with them, you know, what information is most important to them, you know, their mailing address, their best email address. That's the whole purpose of making those calls. It's not advisable to try to do this from behind your computer. Think, you know, I just send them an email and, you know, everything will be okay. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so let me jump into active business. Now, active business is great. I'll share this with you. If you take a look at this, for example, this is our dashboard. So this shows, you know, you're keeping in touch, or you need to call. This shows your task and things like that. This shows your business pipeline. So how many people do you have as unassigned? How many people do you have as new qualified, long-term prospects, hot prospects, current client, past client with an active opportunity, past clients in total, and past clients who are strong referral sources. So this is a good opportunity for you to take a snapshot of what your business looks like. What does your database look like? Many of us don't know what our database looks like. We're just here today, going from one thing to the next. Not really a good, clear idea as to what it looks like. We just know that we're doing deals. But if we were to take a stock or take an inventory, we probably can't do this. So this is great. This comes from your contacts. So if I go to keep in touch, for example, sorry. If I go to a contact and actually, you know what? Let me go back to the dashboard. Share it with you this way. So if I make a prospecting call and I say, okay, I made a phone call and I spoke to that person. Let me hit save. No, it didn't change. Probably need to go in here first, update status. So each of your contacts need to have an updated status. So what is this person? Is this person a new unqualified hot prospect, long-term prospect, et cetera, and what are they? Are they a buyer? Are they a tenant, seller, renter, past client, investor? All of these things. So every contact that you have in your database, you probably want to have a good indication as to who are they? What do they represent to you? And that's where this comes from in terms of updating their status. If I hadn't done it there and I went into the actual contact record, then it could be done here also. All right, active business. So what does your active business look like and where does it show up? It shows up around here. I went back on the dashboard. We covered some of the stuff here in prospecting activities. Active listening buyers, okay? So here we are with a group of active listings and buyers and also prospective buyers, right? So how many buyer contracts do you have right now that you're working with? And where are they? Are they in a file folder? They're sitting on your desk somewhere? Or you've got them in a system like this? What does it represent, right? And so that's what this does. Active business snapshot shows pending closings, active listings, potential listings, pending closings, prospective buyers. So it gives you an opportunity to see what your business is looking like or what the potential business that you have coming down the pipeline. All right. So if I go back to active business, what does active business look like? Well, here we've got some potential listings or buyers. And I actually want to do one. I want to set one up. So let's come to who'd like to be my test buyer?
Sonia.
Sonia? Awesome. Okay. Sonia, so I'm going to add you as a contact. I'm going to come to contacts. I want to add. So main contact. Sonia.
Yeah, SONJA.
And last name, Sonia?
RAZ.
RAZ.
MOV.
MOV.
SKI.
SKI. All right. Okay, and I'm going to just put oh, here's something else that we didn't kind of talk about, but I'm going to speak about it real briefly. And that was the fact that part of IXACT Contacts complete program is they also offer direct mail opportunity. It's not mandatory, but if you wanted to add a direct mail component to your marketing plan, you could speak with them and they'll walk you through what that looks like, okay? So I'm gonna have to make a decision. Do I want this contact to receive a direct mail newsletter or not? And in this case, I'm gonna say no, because I just don't wanna forget that I said yes and you end up getting a direct mail. Obviously, I need to have your address to do that too, right? So, and then we could add spouse and partner. And this is very important. Sometimes I see some databases where we've got spouses or partners, everyone's in the same contact record, and that's not correct. So we could have spouses information here. And as far as email addresses are concerned, each individual should have their own email address. Okay. Similarly, when I get down to the bottom, I could add a home address or I could add a work address, either or. What is a preference? I typically don't do anything with this, but you can if you want. Accepts mass email, yes. Provided consent, yes. Direct mail newsletter, do I want to send a direct mail newsletter? If I want to send a direct mail newsletter, yes. Do I want it to be one-to-one? One-to-one just basically means that it's going to speak to that individual, so it could say, hey, Sharon, as opposed to not saying your name at all. So if I said yes, yes, as far as that's concerned, then it would personally speak to you and address you by name. What type of version do I want to send? Well, I'd have to select it first. Then I could say, well, this is the client, or is this a prospect? Do they live in a house or do they live in a condo? So you get to select what version you'd like to send. What work details do I have, if any? And do I want to include them into my business directory? What is a contact status? Contact groups, if I want to have subgroups. Now, contact groups are just like having tags. So you can have buyers, but not all buyers are the same. They belong to different subset of buyers. Okay, and so that's what those are. Original source of contact. Okay, so what is the original source of contact? Well, in this case, I'm going to say the original source of contact is a referral. Now, here's a unique thing, because once I select referral, it's going to say, who is the person that referred them to me or to you? So I'm going to say that they were referred to me by Eric. And I'm going to search. Done. So now you've got some reference as to where that contact came from. Or I could say, maybe they came from LinkedIn, or maybe they came from personal, maybe they came from an open house, maybe they came from my social stream, you know, whatever that. Hey, I got a couple of websites, Bold Leads, or my personal website. Whatever that, maybe they came from a first-time buyer seminar. Whatever that source is, you should be keeping a track of where your transactions, where your deals are coming from. Okay. So I'm going to hit save. Done. Okay. All right. So you need some of that information. So let's come back. What does it want? It requires an address, so I don't want direct mail. So let's shut it off. Okay, so now Sonia is a contact, a lead, someone that I've been following up with. And now things get a little bit interesting, because Sonia decides that it's time for her to buy a property. So I'm going to come over here, click on properties, and I am going to come down here. I'm going to add Sonia to the prospective buyer in my database, because we've met, I've gone through a buyer presentation, we've signed a buyer's representation agreement, and this buyer's representation agreement expires, we are June, so I'm going to say December the 9th, because I typically sign my BRAs for 6 months. I want to include it in calendar, and I want to send myself a reminder at least 14 days prior to the expiry of the BRA. Why? Because I might forget. And I got 15 BRAs on the go, and Sonia's decided, you know what, she's not that motivated or not that ready, and she's kind of fallen through the cracks. And if I don't have a reminder in there, I might not remember to get her back on track. All right, so here we are, we've got a buyer agency, it's gonna expire in 14 days. I'm gonna put price range. Sonia, what are you looking to purchase? What price range do you think that sounds like to you?
Say, 750 to $1 million.
So 750 to $1 million. All right, expected commission is 2.5. And property type is Property type is residential. Building type is, where are we going here with this? House. Ownership is freehold. Location is Uxbridge.
Yeah, we're moving
All right, closer to me. Good. All right, property size, I could say 2,500 square feet, right? Lot size, no big deal. Stories, probably 1 or 2 story. Bedrooms, 4. Bathrooms, 3. Bingo. Notes, I could add notes if I like. All right, now I'm going to save that. Buyer preferences saved. Okay. Now, it's automatically prompting you to update the status. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click on hot prospect, right? Prospect type, buyer and seller, because Sonia, guess what? She has a home to sell. Now, let me add your address. Contact profile, edit, and I'm going to add your address as, I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to say 8850 Young Street, right? And Richmond Hill. And I'm going to, I'm not sure what the postal code is, but what's postal code here? Postal code here?
L4C 024.
All right. Okay, so there we go. I'm going to, so I've got an address for you. Save. So now I'm going to come back to properties, and I'm going to add property. And the property I'm going to add is residential, building type, house, ownership, freehold, location, Richmond Hill. And your primary address, oh, I should have done it in here. Okay, there we go. Great. I don't need to add anything about purchase details or sale details or property details or anything like that. I could if I wanted to, but I'm not going to at this moment. Just for simplicity, I'm gonna hit save. And then immediately when I've done that, you see this little icon right here? It now allows me to create a listing. So when I click on create a listing, this is the listing here, 8850, that's your home address. I'm gonna have it as active. Now, if you were a repeat client, I could add this as repeat business. Because then it's gonna give you a report on your repeat business. You can see, hey, how much of my business is coming from repeat and referral business? So listing commission, let's just say we have the listing commission is 5%, listing start date, let's just say it was today, expiry December the 9th, including calendar, send a reminder, 14 days. There was a lot box, so I'm gonna put, hey, we got a lot box there. Sorry. And if I had a single property website, I could put the property website information there also. Any notes about the property, which basically would be the description. And I'm going to hit save. Please enter asking price. That would be interesting, right? All right, so asking price. So let's say our asking price is, I don't know, 850,000. So we're gonna hit save. So it's been loaded successfully. Update the status, still a hot prospect, still a buyer and seller, save, done. So now for my listing, I want to add an activity plan. So I'm going to add an activity plan, assign a new activity plan. And that new activity plan could be my 3-month new listing plan or my 3-month new listing plan test, whatever it was. I'm going to hit continue. It's going to tell me all the things that need to be done. I'm going to assign that plan. So now that gives me an update of what I need to do. I could have under activities, well, we've not completed anything yet, but as they get completed, you can see you're completed over here and your pending ones here. I could have related parties. Now, who would be a related party? A related party could be a home inspector, could be a mortgage broker, could be a lawyer. I could add a party in here and I could add it from my contact list, or I could add it from frequently related parties. So if I went to frequently related parties, I could come in here and I could select, okay, well, let's say I'm using this one. This could be my lawyer or my mortgage broker or my home inspector. Or I'm using, and let me come back in here. Let's go to, she's a banker. And did I have a description for lawyer? No, I didn't. But anyway, I'm going to hit save. You must specify a role. Okay, so his role is lawyer. Okay. Oh, sorry. Done, save. So now I've got some related parties. What are the showings? What are the documents? Right? So I can have all of my documents uploaded in here. And now we've got an active business. If I go back to my dashboard and I go to my active listings and buyers, I will see, Sonia, here you are. All right. Now, if I go back to you, Sonia, as my, I wonder if I can get it from here. Let's just take a look. I might only get the address. If I go back to Sonia, Sonja, and I go to properties, and I go to buy a property. Now I'm going to enter in the property that we actually ended up putting the offer on. And that property could look something like this. Let's say it was 121 John Street. So 125 John Street, Toronto. And let's say we hit continue. Now it wants to know, okay, so it's sold conditional. Let's say it's sold, let's just say, yeah, it's sold conditional. And who did you represent? You represented the buyer, you represented the seller, maybe you represented both. So let's say we represented the buyer. And let's say this is repeat business. And let's say the asking price was, what did we say, 750? Right, so we said 750 to $1 million. So let's say we purchased for 900. And then whatever the MLS was. And whatever the commission is. We don't know about the listing commission because we weren't the lister, but we were the buyer, and that was 2.5%. Yeah, it looked a little bit low, didn't it? Okay, and we don't know about the listing start date and all that stuff. That's not us. Actually, I probably should have done that down here. We could put, actually, that's what I should have done. This should have actually come down here. I think. No, still wants it. So down here, when was the offer accepted? Well, the offer was accepted today. Are there any conditions to be waived? Looks like we've got a 5-day condition. I want to make sure it's included in my calendar so I don't forget that we've got conditions outstanding 2 days prior to that. When's our inspection date? Our inspection date is set for Thursday, right? Do I want to make sure I get a reminder 2 days before that? Make sure our appointment's booked. Closing date. When's our closing date? Our closing date is going to be just in time for school. So we'll say August 29th. That's going to be our move-in date. And we want to include these in our calendars so that we don't forget. And what are we conditioned on? Maybe there's another condition in there that's other than financing or inspection. It could be conditional lawyer's review. So we could always add that if we wanted to. All right, property summary. We can always add all of that. Now we want to make sure that this property becomes our primary address once we close the transaction. So I'm going to hit save. I believe that I have enough. Selling price, my final buying commission. Selling price. We said 900. And my final buying commission. Save. So now you've got an active business. So still a hot prospect. We probably could change it to, well, I wouldn't change it. So I'd probably leave it until we actually close the transaction and then close it out. And then we can always update that there. So if we take a look at our active business, so here we are. Active business here. Once the transaction is closed out, where are we at? It'll show over here in your business history. And that is the way how you add a listing and a prospective buyer to Exact Contact. Now, all of this is very easily done by coming in here and going under help. All right? What I've done is I've given you a little bit more of an in-depth view. Obviously, you've got calendar, you've got your business pipeline, so you can see exactly what's going on. You can see your dashboard, which will help you with anything you've got in your business pipeline, your prospecting activities, which we showed you how to use with the coach, your active listing and buyers that you're working with, your prospective buyers, and your active business. Yes.
One question, you know how you do feature sheets and things like that?
Yes.
I was just wondering, if you make a client like that in your database, could you scan and put, like attach that feature sheet and send it to your database in whoever is interested in? 100%.
So great question. So for example, you could either just do it on the fly whenever you wanted it, whenever you wanted to. So if we go into mass emails, for example, here is, okay, let's come over here. Let's go search, keyword search, listed. All right, so here is a just listed card, just listed flyer. Here is a little bit about what it looks like. So you can insert the photos, you can insert all the information that you want to insert.
But this one, you're making it over here on the
Correct.
system yourself.
Yes.
Just in case that, let's say you
already have it.
You already have it.
Okay, so if you already have it, then let's just say you wanted to send a mass email. And let's just say that the email was, thought you'd be interested in taking a look at this home that I've just listed and whatever you want to say, right? And
Upload attachment, just
Yes.
further down.
yes,
Right there.
right here.
But is that gonna show in the body of the email, or is that gonna be attachment?
It's an attachment.
Attachment. So it's as if you're just emailing someone.
And then once you've done that, then you want to hit send, and it's going to ask you who do you want to send it to. So now you've got to come into your contacts, and then you've got to decide which contacts do you want to send it to. You might want to come down here under advanced search, because you're not going to go through and check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to come in here under advanced search, and then who are the individuals you want to send it to? We sending it to all these people. You could be sending it just to these people, right? So once you've decided who you want to send it to, you select those contacts. Then it's going to show up over here as far as the number of contacts that you've selected that you want to send that to. And if you want to send it to everyone in your database, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
The other question that I have, I was just speaking with Agent Locator,
Yes.
because they do basically a CRM in addition to a website.
Yes.
Do you guys offer the same thing, that you do the website as well as the CRM, or no?
Yes.
And how much is the fee for something like that?
So the Agent Locator platform and Exact Contact platform, two completely different things. I couldn't identify two systems that are completely polar opposites. They are polar opposites, but they're both great. I don't know if that makes sense. But just going back to what I had said earlier on today, a company creates a product because they strongly believe in that product. Not that they believe that that product does everything, but those things that it does do, it does them very well. Agent Locator does websites very well. They happen to have a backend CRM. Exact Contact does CRMs very well. They happen to have a front-end website. Their websites are not even closely comparable. Their CRMs are not even closely comparable. I'm a big fan of Agent Locator and Exact Contact for different reasons. So Agent Locator has a great, very far, a way more superior website than Exact Contact does.
So do you
And
use,
as a,
do you mind me asking a question? Sorry, do you use the CRM with Agent Locator?
yes, for different reasons.
Okay.
Right? So to answer your question, you asked about cost. There's no comparison as far as cost is concerned. Agent Locator, you're gonna pay, the $1,000 or whatever for, setup, or 800 or whatever the case might be, or if you go semi-custom, whatever that number is gonna be. And you're gonna get it semi-customized somewhat. There is some degree of customization that you can do with Agent Locator. With Exact Contact, you won't have that. Exact Contact, you can get a website with Exact Contact for free, as a matter of fact. $0. But it has no listings on it. I'm not sure if that would be useful. I mean, I do know people that have them. But if you wanted to have listings on your Exact Contact website, then you'd pay the minimal $65 for the setup, somewhere around there, and then you're going to spend about $13 a month for the IDX feed. The IDX feed is going to populate that website with listings and all of that. $13. I think the advanced one is probably $33. So the advanced gives you other options and allows the browser to save searches and to create a username, password, to have email drip campaigns with listings and new listing alerts and things like that, so on and so forth. So yeah, for an extra $33, you could have for an extra $13 to $33, you could have a website with.
And that's attached completely to the CRM system.
It is attached completely to the Exact Contact CRM system. And then if you wanted the direct mail component side of things, Exact Contact could provide it to you, and you'll see that. Now, I intentionally didn't go through all the things that are in these notes, because I think once you read through them, you get the gist and the idea.
Now, you said Google is our best friend.
Yes.
If we go for the website as well, I know that with Agent Locator, they do something with Google that you appear in searches after 5 or 6 months. So Google keeps on pulling you up to be on the first page.
I don't know about that.
That's what they say.
I don't know what they said, and I'm not sure about your interpretation of what they said.
Okay. So my question was, do we get leads and things like that if we go for the website over here, or no leads?
Over where?
With the Exact Contact.
All right, so the perception of leads is one that is very misconstrued, because I think agents think that a website is going to just arbitrarily create leads for them, and that's not true. Although some websites are what we would classify as being sticky. So some websites will cause people to stay on them longer. Some websites will make it easier for someone to become a lead. But just having a website does not mean that because you have the website, you will generate leads. What you have to do as an agent, first and foremost, is one, you have to promote your website. And some agents, I hear agents say, oh, I've had this website for 2 years, I never got a lead. Well, yeah, but what did you do? What did you do to create an awareness for your website? Some agents think that, oh, just because you have a website, you're gonna get found in the search. No. No. Just because you have a website doesn't mean you're gonna get found in the search. You got thousands of agents that are ahead of the line, that are in front of you. They've had their websites for years before you. So they're probably gonna get found first before you. And then the other thing is, how do you get found? You get found based on content. So what content are you adding to your website? Somebody said, well, I got my website, I never gotten a lead, this website sucks, it's no good. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's just get this straight. Why should you be found? What is it about you that makes you special? What is it about you that makes you unique? Does your website reflect that? Who do you think, whose responsibility do you think it is to put that information there? Do you think it's the website provider's responsibility to put it there? Or do you think it's your responsibility to put it there? Who knows that about you? Does the website provider know that about you? Or you know that about you? So the onus and the responsibility is on you, it's on us. Far too often, we think that these things just miraculously happen without thinking logically, hey, how is this gonna happen? Now, having said that, so first of all, I would say, if you want to be found on the search engines, it is your responsibility to create content that is going to make your website, no, first you got to create the content, then you have to have the content on your website with the right keywords, with the right meta tags, with the right descriptions, with the right SEO, in order for it to be perceived as being valuable enough that when I'm searching for what you have to offer, then Google shows it to me. Right now, Google's not going to show me your site because they don't deem it to be valuable enough. And everybody's website starts from that place. Unless you are going to pay that company a fee to create content specific and unique to you to allow your website to rise in the search engines. Now, as far as generating leads, just because someone visits your website is concerned, then that depends on the website and how the website is designed. What I like about agent locators websites, or at least, see, what was great 18 months ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's probably not as great today because things get washed out. And if you're not consistently evolving, you get left behind. But when Agent Locator first came on board, they were one of the first companies that had like the forced registration, or that had, hey, you want to know what your home's worth? And just put in the address. And someone just puts in the address, and immediately you're taking them down the rabbit hole. Some websites are offering you a home evaluation, but they're still asking you 10 questions up front. They're still asking you, you look at it and it's a form that's intimidating, because the form is asking you first name, last name, phone number, email address, mailing address, what's your firstborn, your lastborn. Like, there's nobody's gonna fill that in. There's nobody is going to fill that in. But yet they're still going to sell it to you as a lead generating website. Why? Because yes, it can generate a lead. How likely is it? 0. But if you go to a website like an agent locator that says, hey, you want to be, you'd like to know your home value, and you're just asking for the address, then boom, it shows them a picture of their house through Google Maps. Whoa, all of a sudden they have this attachment. Now they're seeing their own house in the Google Maps, and the concept says, hey, we found your home. Who should we send the evaluation to? So now the person started out just by giving their address, but now they've warmed up to the idea. Oh, yeah, that's my house. Oh, yes, I want the evaluation. Oh, my name is Eric. Okay, my email address is boom. And then they take that, and then next, they show you another option. And they say, okay, great. Would you like to see would you like to see a list of homes that are currently available for sale in your neighborhood? Now, who's not going to want to see a list of homes that's currently available for sale in your neighborhood if they wanted to find out how much their home is worth? You see what I'm saying? So the whole process is a psychological process that takes people down the rabbit hole. Now I've got to give them my email address because now I want to see this stuff, right? And now they're going to say to me, great, we're preparing your home evaluation. Would you like to have a more detailed and precise evaluation? We can book an appointment for you to meet with one of our agents. And it's going to pop up the calendar, and I'm going to pick a day when I want to book an appointment, that kind of a thing. So these are the things, these are the evolutions that has taken place in terms of piquing somebody's interest and getting them to opt in and getting them to give you their information, and just kind of, it's like a pipeline. You've got to move them down the pipeline, right? And it's no different than the content and the concept that I shared with you today with your database. You're gonna move your data, you're gonna move your contacts through the pipeline, right? And you start small, and you gradually, as you continue to work them, you move them through the pipeline. So there are two different things. Agent Locator cannot do any of these things that I shared with you, with your database and your listing and your action plan and all of the email strategies and components and showing you, your goals and what you should be doing on it. Agent Locator can't do that. Exact Contact can. So a lot depends on where you're at. in my opinion, agent locator as far as, and I'm gonna be doing something on agent locator coming up soon. And agent locator's website, for example, from a lead prospecting and a lead conversion process, Exact Contact doesn't have that. They're not in the same league. Agent locator is way above and beyond the one Exact Contact is. So with agent locator, I can strap on my headset, or I could even go Bluetooth wireless with my headset, connect to my agent locator CRM, and actually call my leads through agent locator. And I can call my leads, I can even record the conversation, save it in my contact file, so either I, who might be following up, or someone else who's following up can see what the conversation has been like, or just to refresh my memory. You can't do that in Exact Contact. I like Agent Locator's Street Match, which allows you the ability to be able to fulfill that proposition, which was keeping people up to date with the activity in their area. And I can send them an automatic email when a property comes up for sale on their street. Boom. They get that. They might even get it before the sign goes up, which is good for you because every single person that you know in their individual neighborhood where they live, your friends, your family, your past clients, they're all being inundated with real estate information from everybody else. You get that, right? All of the just listed flyers, all of the just listed souls, all of the for sale signs that your clients, your family, your friends are seeing from everybody else, you're not in there. They're not seeing you because you can't compete with all of that. But the way that you can kind of even this the scale, so to speak, is by using a system like an agent locator, or maybe not even agent locator. You can use Trev if you don't want to use agent locator. Is to notify your database when properties come up for sale on their street, at a very minimum. If they're in a townhouse complex, properties that come up for sale in their townhouse complex. In their condo building, properties that come up for sale in their condo building. You should be doing that to your database. At the very minimum, that's you keeping them up to date because they're curious. They want to know. And why have your contacts reach out to other agents to get information that you should be providing? All right. So you can do a very generic one through Trev. You might be able to do one through Collab. Right? I just like Agent Locator because of the branding, because of the notification, and I can log into my database and I can see what properties they've been looking at. I can customize the communication to them that talks to them based on, hey Sonia, I see that you've been looking at homes in Uxbridge between 800 to $1 million. Is that still the price range that you're considering? And I can do that based on the fact that she's looked at properties in Uxbridge more times than she's looked at properties in Richmond Hill. I don't know she's looking at homes in Uxbridge, but Agent Locator tells me that because it tracks her activity. And so in my email communication, or even my text messaging communication, I can create a correspondence that speaks to her behavior. So based on her behavior patterns and based on her searching patterns, and based on things that she's doing on my website, I could send that communication out to 100 people and they all get something different, but it's based on their patterns. Exact Contact. So is it worth that $60 a month? Because it meets the needs of those people that I might be marketing to? See, my Agent Locator contacts, they have to earn the right to get into my Exact Contact database. I have more people in my agent locator database than I have in my exact contact. So they're not clients yet. They're still out there searching the web, looking at listings and all of that kind of good stuff. But they've not come into the office. We've not had a BRA done. So I've got nothing to put over here in exact as far as they're concerned. I don't know their date of birth. I don't know any of those personal things that I would want to have for my contacts in my exact contact account. So that's how I work with them.
Would you mean that, would you recommend that it is good that we have both of them as an agent locator, as lead generation, for lead generation and website, and get the leads to other, move the leads to exact contact and work with them?
Well, I'm certainly not recommending that you have both. That is for sure. I could tell you that unequivocally 100%, because I know most agents don't even use the one that they have. So that's not my recommendation. I'm just sharing with you because I have the experience of using them both and that it works for me. But what I'm doing is not necessarily what I'm saying you should be doing. I think that you first of all have to make a decision based on your database and what is most important for you to accomplish first. See, if you're not already into lead generation, then I'm not recommending agent locator. If you already have an existing database, I'm recommending that you get that database under control first. Once you get your database under control first, then you can start thinking about getting new contacts or other contacts. But I think it's important to get a real good grip of your existing contacts first, and then look at other ways of, lead generation and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Can you know about the best for agents?
Excuse me?
Best for agents.
Best for agents?
Yeah, do you know that?
What is that?
System and website.
You mean Web for Realty?
No.
Web for Realty?
No, the name is Best for Agents. They create the website and CRM and lead generation.
Where are they located? Do you know?
Located in Toronto.
Yeah? I'm not sure. Connect with me, make sure, I don't know, I didn't get everybody's cards, but I'm online. Are we connected online as Facebook friends? If not, let's do that. Yes, okay. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure that I would go with this, but that's probably just me. I would definitely look at the website from my cell phone. I would go through the templates, see if they look okay.
Yeah, actually, because I talked with them and I I know for the website design and creating the website, they are very good. But about the CRM, I don't know. I think I wanted to be sure that the CRM system is working good and good enough for the agents or for the new agents like me
Yes.
on the database.
Yeah. I see them, well, again, it just depends on where you're at and what you feel your needs are, you know? But definitely look into it and make sure you get all your questions answered.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We're good?
Good value for you today?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Yes?
yes.
Yes?
Send you a friend request.
Awesome. So now for you and for you that already have exact contact, are you guys going to kick it into gear?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for,
Yeah, I bossed him around to make him do it.
Of course I am. I totally agree.
No, you work for, I missed the, like.
No, I don't work for Exact. I work for Roller Page Connect
I get it.
and I do training here for Connect and your community.
Perfect, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So for existing clients, I mean, for an existing email list for people that you've known for a long time, all I have right now is the agent locator CRM, so I could still use that, put them in, or would I be better off going with Exact or something like that?
No, I mean, you have their phone numbers? You have their names and phone numbers?
Yeah, I've got email addresses and phone numbers.
Yeah, so I would call them up, like I said, go through the prospect, then go through that process of getting their consent to keep in touch with them by asking them questions that we talked about, right? And you have that list, I've given it to you.
Yeah.
And then what do you do after you've done that? After you call them,
Add them to your Zoom.
yeah, but what are we offering? We're offering them to do what? What?
Give them updates on what's going on in
Market.
their area.
Okay, so then how do you do that in Agent OK?
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so I would put them in my CRM if I get the okay, and then just send them updates either through them or Treb. But you were saying,
No, you've missed it.
no, I did.
Street match. Remember I said that you are going to notify them about properties that come up for sale on their street?
On their street, okay.
You've got it.
Okay, yeah,
That's the very first thing.
right, all right.
And that's something that you can do with the agent locator as well? That's-
Right off the bat. It is the very, do you guys have a website?
we do commercial, so we're kind of using IXACT for just database and
Yes.
stuff like that, but we're trying to find ways to maybe get more use out of it. So
Okay.
We're not typical,
Yes,
users of the platform.
gotcha. Do you have a website?
No.
Not yet? No website? All right. Website?
Yeah.
Exact?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so yeah, your agent locator website platform, all you need to do right off the very bat, get on the phone and call people.
Okay.
Get their data. Get their consent to keep in touch with them. If you don't have a website, you don't have agent locator, at the very least, you should be setting up your contacts in Treb.
That's what it is.
See, the misconception that most agents have where Treb is concerned is that they typically just use it to send buyers listings. But you go in and you set up a prospect match for your past client or your family member because you want them to get that email when that listing, anytime a listing comes up for sale.